Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump's lawyer, was on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd, and he was explaining why Donald Trump so far has refused to answer questions by special counsel Robert Mueller. And during this exchange, Giuliani said something that later turned into a meme. Take a look.
Look, I'm not going to be rushed into having him testify so that he gets trapped into perjury. And when you tell me that, he should testify because he's going to tell the truth and he shouldn't worry, well, that's so silly because it's somebody's version of the truth, not the truth. He didn't have a conversation.
Truth is truth. I don't mean to go like...
No, it isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The President of the United States says, I didn't...
Truth isn't truth. Mr. Mayor, do you realize what...
No.
This is going to become a bad meme.
Don't do this to me.
Don't do truth isn't truth to me.
So, okay, the truth isn't the truth. That's the statement that everyone's talking about. But I want to read you what Giuliani said. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm reading it incorrectly, but okay, let me just read it. When you tell me that he should testify because he's going to tell the truth and he shouldn't worry, well, that's so silly because that's somebody's version of the truth. So are you saying that Trump is gonna lie when he testifies and that's why you're concerned that he's gonna be caught in a perjury trap?
Yeah, so let's break it down. You're absolutely right in your reading of it. And presumably Giuliani meant to say that someone else could lie about him and they could accept his word instead of Trump's word and then call what Trump is saying a lie and hence the perjury trap. But he didn't say that. He said he was referring to what Trump was saying, that he might not give an accurate account. So it might be his 28th misstatement in a row, but his literal words are indicating that Trump wouldn't tell the truth.
I mean, you are a lawyer in the most high-profile case in the country. There's no room for, oh, I misspoke, or that was just a small error. I actually meant to say this. Or how many times is he gonna do this?
No, and the fish rots from the head down. And so if I was being investigated by the FBI, would I hire Rudy Giuliani?
Hell no.
No way, the guy's a total buffoon. And so I wouldn't hire him because I'd hire a competent attorney, a regular attorney, and one who has a specialty in this case and is careful like most attorneys. But Trump hires someone as reckless and stupid as he is. And Trump looks at Giuliani and thinks, nailed it, right?
Yeah.
Even if what he meant is that Trump isn't gonna lie and someone else is gonna lie, don't say the phrase, the truth isn't the truth. How unsavvy are you that you don't realize that people will immediately take that as, oh, these guys have no connection to the truth. They don't care about the truth. What a terrible thing to say as an attorney and as someone representing the president, even if you meant it the right way, which it's not clear that you did mean it the right way.
So I want to give you guys a little more context into this conversation so you can, he clarifies what he means a little bit in this next clip. So let's take a look at that.
Donald Trump says, I didn't talk about Flynn with Comey. Comey says, you did talk about it. So tell me what the truth is.
Don McGahn might know.
If you're such a genius, Don McGahn doesn't know. If that's the situation, they have two pieces of evidence. Trump says, I didn't tell him, and the other guy says that he did say it. Which is the truth? We have a credibility gap between the two of them. You got to select one or the other. Now, who do you think Mueller's going to select? One of his best friends, Comey, or the president who he has been carrying on a completely wild, crazy, unorthodox investigation?
Wild, crazy, unorthodox investigation. Okay, so look, the truth isn't the truth did turn into a meme. And so Rudy Giuliani felt the need to clarify what he meant on social media. I want to read you those tweets very quickly. He says, my statement was not meant as a pontification on moral theology, but one referring to the situation where two people make precisely contradictory statements, the classic he said, she said puzzle. Sometimes further inquiry can reveal the truth, other times it doesn't. So just to answer his question, you have Comey saying one thing and Trump saying the other. Who do you believe? I would believe Comey because he doesn't have a history of constant deception as Trump does.
So no. So I understand what Giuliani's saying. I think most people understand it, even though he misstated it and stated it as if Trump would be lying. And he said this phrase that is of course going to get him in trouble, and he's incredibly stupid for saying. But overall, we all get it. He's saying that, hey, Trump's going to tell the truth, but the other guys are going to lie about him, and then the prosecutor will just believe Comey and the other guys, and then call what Trump is saying perjury, even though it isn't. That's the claim that Giuliani is trying to make. But that's not how it works. And you wouldn't actually just decide, hey, is one guy telling the truth or the other? Who do I like more? Or who do I believe more? No, you would look for other evidence. That's why Chuck Todd pointed out, well, McGahn would know. If McGahn was in the room and he's the White House counsel, and we found out over the weekend, he very honestly talked to Robert Mueller because the idiot Donald Trump let him and waived attorney-client privilege and executive privilege. Then if McGahn's in the room and he backs up Comey's version of events, as an example, in that case, he might not have been in the room, but McGahn was in the room for a lot of these things. So if Trump says X, and it turns out the other guys say Y, the other people in the room also say Y, well, then you have your answer. So the rest of the evidence will determine who's telling the truth. That's why Trump should not testify. If I was his lawyer, I would say, are you kidding me? We're gonna go nowhere near Mueller. We're never gonna be in the same state as Mueller because Trump isn't telling the truth, right? And he will get caught. He will definitely get caught because most of those cases, there were other people in the room and they don't wanna go to jail. So they will tell the truth of what happened, including potentially the White House counsel. The second reason why Trump might get caught is because he constantly contradicts himself. So you don't even need other witnesses. Trump will say, I fired Comey because of the Russia investigation on national television. Then he'll turn around and say, no, I didn't fire him because of that. I fired him because he was mean to Hillary Clinton. That's literally that's their going thesis now, that they fired Comey because they didn't like the way he treated Hillary Clinton. That was the original memo that Rosenstein wrote, and now they've come back to that. But you contradicted yourself, so you're by definition lying in one of those cases.
And not only that, I mean, think about the way he tries to slander Robert Mueller or James Comey. I mean, Robert Mueller has been a lifetime or lifelong Republican, but he keeps painting him as this Democrat who's on a witch hunt. I mean, he's lying about who Robert Mueller is. Look, Robert Mueller is not. It's funny because in this weird topsy-turvy world, you find yourself as a progressive defending Robert Mueller when in any other situation, any other scenario, Robert Mueller is not someone that we would typically defend. But he keeps going after him as if he's like this hardcore progressive who's trying to get Trump impeached, but that is not the case. So the fact that he's lying about that shows you what his character is. He lies time and time again. Look, I don't think Robert Mueller even needs to talk to Trump. Right? Trump incriminates himself on a regular basis on social media. He can't help himself. So collect that evidence, do your job, talk to the people that matter, and let's get to a conclusion.
Yes, and finally, I think that what we're gonna be left with in remembrance of this administration once Trump is taken out of office for the nonstop pathological lies. I mean, perjury would be the bare minimum of his problems. We will remember things as truth isn't truth. Kellyanne Conway saying we believe in alternative facts, and Donald Trump saying what you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening. That is another direct quote. And by the way, let's all remember that he told Leslie Stahl, I keep attacking the press because when you guys write negative things about me, I don't want people to believe you. So Anna's right. He has incriminated himself 1,000 times publicly. It'd be great if we went to go talk to Mueller on the record because it's plainly obvious who Donald Trump is. We all see it. By the way, even the MAGA guys know it. You think they don't know that he's lying nonstop? They know, they just don't care, right? You know that if he goes to talk to Mueller, he'll lie about approximately 200 times, in a half an hour. So, but even if he doesn't, he's still toast for all the lies he said in public, let alone the obstruction of justice, let alone the underlying crime.
Like this video? That's great. And you never have to miss another episode of TYT by hitting the subscribe button below. And ring the bell to get notified whenever we publish a new video.